Why is it that we have to read the issues of incest every single year, multiple times in the Torah? The subject of homosexuality is not a common one. Although it existed, people that were homosexual, generally speaking, kept it in the closet. And when they finally came out, it was a big thing. Oh, he came out of the closet. Should have died in the closet, but okay, he came out of the closet. Once he came out of the closet, Shem Yishmo, he's going to regret. He's going to want to burn that closet. But in those days, it was not so common. Even though it existed since the beginning of time, it wasn't acceptable by society. It was still taboo. Fast forward 40 years, look at what's happened. Most of you are young, so to you grew up in such a society where homosexuality not only has become standard, but in fact, if you don't teach your kids that they should be homosexual, you're crazy. Why? That's what Disney is doing. That's what the lefty liberals are doing. They're telling you that you calling your son is against the normal behavior that you should have as a parent. It's not loving your son. How can you decide that your son is your son? Who made you God and made you decide that he is a boy? Well, God decided that he's a boy because he has the male member. No, that's not a decision. So you see, Rabotai, we didn't talk about it so much when we were kids, and quietly the Satan made what was once taboo, because the Orach Chaim HaKadosh says, in Egypt, we got to such a level of impurity, we were at the 49th level of impurity. One more sin, we would have never left Egypt. Hence the reason why Kadosh Baruch Hu had to get us out of there at once. Hence the reason why the last couple of years were the worst of the worst, because the decree originally was for 400 years. But at 210 years, we got to such a level of impurity that Hashem says that if one of them commits adultery, if one of them commits homosexuality, if one of them commits any bestiality, which is standard among the Egyptians, if one of them does it, that's the 50th level. They will not have a right to exist. They can never leave Egypt. In Parashat Achrei Mot, it says that homosexuality is an abomination. So why did you mention a whole list of other things? Because it seems like in this generation, the most disgusting things that are not so much against nature, the most taboo things that are not necessarily so far-fetched, may very well, and hopefully I'm wrong, become the standard. Look at how parents are talking to their children about their boyfriend and their girlfriend. You think that the father that sees his daughter with no arms and no legs, he doesn't think of that? Because she's his daughter, he's so holy, this tameh, that allows his daughter to walk around with no pants and no arms and no nothing. That's the future for the people that won't be holy. Why? That's 50th level. Everything else we've done. Now, if you think this is all new, even that's not new. Incest existed in the Torah since the beginning of time. All types of garbage has existed throughout history. Just like homosexuality has always existed throughout history. Nothing new under the sun. What's the new thing? Why is it 50th level? Because although all of it has always existed, it became intolerable when it became the standard. When society turned the taboo into acceptable behavior. The second, homosexuality became no longer taboo. Look how it grew. Once incest is no longer a taboo, Rabotai, because people will come to the realization that a world absent of holiness has no reason not to commit the most heinous crimes known to man. Why? Because it's not even unnatural. Because even the Torah, even HaKadosh Baruch Hu says it's not unnatural. Homosexuality is unnatural, bestiality is unnatural, yet there are millions of people. If you're not disgusted, there's something wrong with you. The second, holiness becomes something that society frowns upon. We turn this world into Sodom and Gomorrah to the 10th power. And that's the 50th level, Rabotai. So you see, it's no longer a easy choice whether to aspire to be holy or not. Perhaps we had that choice when we were kids, to aspire to be holy, to not to aspire to be holy, to be standard, to do your best. It seems like the only thing that would save us would be to aspire to be holy. Why? Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai said in the Zohar Kadosh that the generation before Mashiach, their tikkun for the men is going to be learning Torah and tikkun abrit. For women, it's going to be modesty. That's the big deal. Modesty. And sending their husbands, obviously, and their kids to learn Torah. How could this be? Everybody was modest in his day. Everyone was modest during the time of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. You didn't see anybody walking around with mini skirts. You didn't see anyone walking around with tight jeans. You didn't see any of that stuff. So why could you say Mashiach will come when everybody's modest? You didn't have the apps that has all the filth and pornography in it in those days. How can you say that when everybody's not wasting seed, that's when the Mashiach is going to come? Simple. The Torah told us we're going to get to the 50th level of Tumah. That means that all of the things that are obvious, clear to every normal human being in society will no longer be normal. That means that we will live in a society that all of the abominations will become normal. All of the heinous will become normal. All of the disgusting will become normal. And all of the good will be frowned upon. Being modest today is no longer just to protect you from sins for yourself. It's no longer just to help your friend not get a divorce because her husband is looking at you. It's now also to remind yourself that you're a human being, that you're not a beast in the jungle trying to feed whatever instinct is pushing. Being modest is no longer something that's, maybe learning Torah is no longer something, when I get time. How are you going to know the difference between an animal and you without learning the Torah? How are you going to know the difference between the goyim that are committing all the heinous crimes that Hashem is saying is standard to them and you, if you're acting the same way? The only thing that will remind us that there's God above us, that there's a future beyond us, that we are a unique people, is our holy Torah. But not just because it's stuck in some closet, rather because it's stuck in our heart and we're practicing it and we're doing it and we're proud of it, especially when it distinguishes us from everybody else.